Hello, everybody. This is Chris Wilson from St. Andrew talking about worship and preaching this coming week. We have been in a series called The Disciples of Christ DNA, looking at some of the core theological tenets of our historical tradition and what those mean today and how those take shape in a progressive community of faith. This week, we are looking at what it means to be a spiritual people is the theme, that we are a spiritual people. And this essentially is reflecting on how our faith comes alive. The scripture text that I'll be using this week comes from the letter of 1 Peter. It's toward the back end of the New Testament. And in chapter 1, there's a collection of verses in the first chapter that's an invitation by the author of that letter to live a life that's called holy living. And I think that's an interesting phrase, holy living. And sometimes we think, well, that's not a life that I can do. Sometimes we have the misnomer or maybe a false notion of what it means to live the Christian life, that we're supposed to live this perfect life. And that's far from the truth, that we are human beings and we're going to make mistakes, we're going to doubt, we're going to be challenged, we're going to fumble around. But this idea of a call to holy living is, are we taking on practices? Are we engaging in things that allow us to reflect God's character in the world for others to see? To me, that's what holy living is about. And the rich history of the disciples of Christ is that we are a spiritually rooted people. Back in the late 90s, our general minister and president, Dick Ham, came up with 3 marks of the church. And one of them, that we were a deeply spiritual people, is that we are not on the surface. We're not a faith that's on the surface. We're not a faith that's been handed down to us. We are a people that dig deep and reflect with great discernment and mindfulness and intelligence of what it means to believe, but equally what it is to live out what it is we believe. And so this week we'll be talking about what I would basically call spiritual rootedness. What is it that carries us forward? That we're not coming to church just to get information. We're not coming so we can just have a history lesson or learn about something that was reflected on centuries ago. We're coming so that our life can be more whole. We are coming because we want our life to make a difference, and we want to be a different person internally. We want our life to matter in some way, and to be a spiritually rooted people is say, God created me to be this unique gift in the world. And how do I share the uniqueness of who I am with others in collaborative and faithful ways? That we are, as I said earlier, how do we reflect the very nature of God, the image of God that we are created in? How does that reflect and get reflected in the world, a world that is hurting and longing and struggling to find its way? Our spiritual rootedness, I think, has the ingredients, the essence of helping the world think differently, more holy, and more healthy of what it means to be a human family with one another. So I hope you'll join us on Sunday as we reflect on this theme together. Hope you see you then this coming week.